So guys, we are finishing chapter 16, and we have a couple of those, about maybe 11 or so uh, slides of the PowerPoint, and then we can stop recording and then go back without recording, because we have all the chapters are recorded. We can go and finish up the first chapter we started with, and next Wednesday we'll go through the study guide, because I have to, because that's now the responsibility of the instructor to come up with the final exam. That's a very good thing. I'm very happy and thrilled about this. So anyway, the major international agreement to enforce environmental laws and rules are given to you. Those are just 4 examples. The Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, 1973. Those just are those examples. There are some other as well. It's not mentioned in your textbook, but those are the ones that's very specific and very, shining out of all the treaties and international laws. Montreal Protocol, 1987, protects stratospheric ozone. The Basel Convention, 1992, restricts shipments of hazardous waste across the borders. And the last one is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, 1994. All those are treaties and international treaties between the countries to enforce the environmental rules and laws. Enforcement depends on the national pride, and this is really very important point. We are just sometimes forget about this, but sometimes if you put, it's not polite to point your finger on somebody's face. But that's what's happening when it comes to treaty. It's not held, it's not respected by a country. Then every other country is within the treaty. They can point fingers in the face of that country, and that country will feel ashamed, and they have to adhere and follow the treaty they have signed. So here it is. Most countries are reluctant to appear irresponsible or immoral in the eye of international community. So moral persuasion and public embarrassment can be effective enforcement strategies. And it works, really it works, because if you put the country stand alone by itself, not adhering to the policy, while all the other signees of this countries had signed for this treaty, and they have signed and agreed, and they are really holding to it. But this standalone country is not doing it, so everybody's pointing their finger to their faces to that country. So there they feel very embarrassed, and they have to adhere with the treaty they have signed. Shining a spotlight on transgressions will often push a country to comply more with the international agreements. That's happened in the past, that's happened in the present, that will happen even in the future. Some countries, for some reason, they sign, but they don't feel that they are responsible for their signature. And therefore, if you just embarrassing them on the public during the United Nations meetings, the international meetings, then they will come back and adhere to the treaty they have signed. What can students do? This is about 5 slides about the students' involvement in this environmental rules and laws, and to strengthen those laws and to adhere to those laws. Students, they have a big major role in this, and believe it or not, the politicals and the politicians always listen to to students groups. It's very important. That's everywhere, everywhere. That's I saw it in Germany. They have really, because those are the most intellectual part of the society. Students are the most what they call the most vivid group in the society itself. So they are listening to them, and most of the all the time, most of the environmental is held by students groups. Like in some area, the nuclear waste in Germany, it has to go through the train, and then from train to the spot where they dug already a big hole, and they to dump all this waste inside. Not dumping it, but putting in a container made of lead so radiation will not come out. Now the students in that area will come and gather, make a big fuss about this, and then they have to come up with a compromise with the government to move from that area, from their area, to somewhere else, really abandoned, some neglected area, so it's not within the villages or their cities or villages. So the students are really participating in this. Communicating ideas of environmental science requires educators, policymakers, artists, writers, engineers, economists, and business leaders. Correct? And beside this, student groups. Environmental educators are also needed to help train an environmentally literate population. And here said what the students, sorry. Okay, sorry, it is. The idea of the students' involvement is very, very important. And as I said, as I put this one here back, I didn't participate in those when I was in Germany, but I was watching it through the TV, and they make a big noise when it comes to, especially nuclear waste. Everybody is afraid to have them near their villages or near their cities. So it goes all the way to the Congress, to the Parliament, and the Parliament decide about abandoned area that's really far away from cities and villages and dump those stuff over there. So, citizen science lets everyone participate. Internships in agencies or environmental organization is one of the way getting involved. Another way of doing this is to get involved in organized citizen science project in which ordinary people join with established scientists to answer real scientific questions. Community-based research was pioneered in the Netherlands as well as in the United States and Canada. How much is enough? Well, it should be every time the students always in environmental laws and rules. They are they call it the bell or the whistler ringers. Whenever they can ring any bell or any whistle, if they feel that there is some some deviation from those rules, or the government might take a shortcut, not adhere to the international law, or breaks the law. So you get always those students everywhere. The students is really the backbone of those type of correction. They correct really the society when it comes to environment. That's what I saw in Germany. That's what I saw in Europe. And the same thing is here. So Germany has closed all coal mining spots. So they don't have this coal mining is no longer there. So instead they went to the alternative type of energy, wind, solar, so all type, chemical, all type of environmental friendly source of energies rather than waste. And the most of the people who are really advancing this are the students, are really the students. How much enough is enough? Technology has made consumer goods and services cheap and readily available in the richer countries of the world. Conspicuous consumption is a term used to describe things we buy but we don't need. That's showing off. That's, we call it what? Some people will buy some stuff they don't really need, but they have to impress their friends, their family members, whatever. So that's the definition of it. Some social critics call this accelerated consumerism, affluenza. Choosing to consume less is an easy way to reduce your global environmental footprint and save money. That's really true. That's really true. Students organization, if you are interested in a career in environmental policy, law, science, journalism, or other related fields, getting involved in a students group is a good way to build knowledge and experience. Many of today's environmental and political leaders gained experience in policy, leadership, and organizing by working with the students groups. They even meet with the leaders of those students groups. I speak about Europe. I did not follow here, but will be the same trend. They in the Senate there. They are called Parliament. They meet with those leaders of the students group, and they listen to their concern in the environment. I think Europe is by far very, very environmental oriented continent by far. They are very, very, because their rivers, their lakes, as I mentioned, they are really almost dead. You cannot swim, you cannot fish in those rivers or lakes or ponds. And that's the reason they are exhausted, their rivers, lakes, and ponds, and therefore they are going back to the original case by cleaning up all the stuff, and then they are very aware what's going on. So they are very active. Students are very, very active in Europe when it comes to the subject of environment. Many of today's environmental and political leaders gained experience in policy leadership and organizing and working with the students groups. These activities can be as informative and life-changing as the course they are taking in the college or university, because they give you the experience of being in charge and making decisions. As I said, politicians, they listen to the students groups, and they really adjust whatever laws to whatever the students are thinking, and they are really respecting the students' thinking. Otherwise, what will happen? They will just, all the student group will, as they did through the past in Germany, they just sleep on the train, and they will not let the train go through, because the train has to go through their body, and the driver of the train is not stupid to kill innocent people. So they call the police can take them out, they come back again, back and forth, the cat, Tom and Jerry type of behavior with the police. The police taking them out, they come from the other side, sleep on the railroad, and so on, until they just let their voice heard in the parliament, and they meet with the parliament and they decide another alternative. And they really changed some of those nuclear waste spots. They moved them out of villages and cities. Because they are very, very aggressive, and they'll not let go. So, and the police get tired of it and tell them, just go to the parliament and talk to your problem there. So that's a very good behavior of the students group. Schools are embracing green building. As you can see, more than 110 colleges through our nation here have buildings certified to LEED, L-E-E-D, which stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Standards. Prize-winning sustainable designers can be found at large institutions such as Stanford University and small colleges such as Oberlin College in Ohio or Middlebury in Vermont. Audits help reduce energy consumptions. Campus audits are an area where students, faculty, and administrators collaborate to examine fresh tap water and energy use, waste production, and disposable paper consumptions, recycling, buying locally produced food, and other strategies to cut resources consumption. And I think if you go through the campuses, you will see those recycling bins or recycling containers. They collect the aluminum cans, they collect the plastic, and they give you a trash. The trash, whatever you are not need, like paper, whatever, but those aluminum soda cans, they can be recycled, and aluminum can be recovered from those cans, and the plastic can be recovered and reused. There are several different editing systems that help guide and organize data collection on campus consumption of energy and materials. So the last slides, the summary of this chapter 16, as I mentioned, it will be not part of the final exam. We had a quiz because students had requested and we voted on it. So the quiz is there, but the final exam, it will be not part of it, not part of the final exam, chapter 16. In this chapter, we have examined some of the basic environmental policies and the ways policies are formed. There are many players in the formation of environmental policy. Students' activism has long been essential both for shaping policy and for building leadership skills and experience in leaders of tomorrow. Sustainable development is one of our greatest challenges. Finding ways to share opportunity without destroying resources requires creativity and commitments. And this is chapter 16.